Crime RPers. They are all over Moonguard and most roleplay servers. Usually every player has an encounter with one through roleplay, or by making one. Everyone at some point has done one or the other, and many of these crime RPers are in crime-related guilds. I'm not going to name any, but there's many, and they are all pretty awful. So these characters and guilds are good in concept. The appeal is there. I see it. So what's the issue? Why do people hate them so much, and why are they considered one of the many problems in Moonguard? It's really simple, because crime RPers just don't work when it comes to the overall RP community. They just don't fit in. They stick out like a sore thumb when it comes to everything else, and there's a few points to back this up. So, point one is that the vast majority of crime RPers are hypocrites. Now this is a common issue with a lot of role players that roleplay, but it is probably the most consistent problem when it comes to crime role players. And what I mean by this is that they inflict suffering on others because, they're criminals. They injure people, they kill people, they rob people, but they hate it. They absolutely hate it when they're the target, when they're the ones getting hurt, killed, imprisoned, etc. They hate it. In most cases, they will commit god modding just to get out of injury or death. This is something that is very common, and it happens a lot, and I see it a lot. Now keep in mind, when it comes to this, they are criminals, and criminals do bad things. When you're role-playing a criminal, you can't expect everything to go your way. Okay? The vast majority of criminals in the real world, and I assume in Azeroth's world, because they are, vast majority of criminals get jailed, killed, or hurt doing what they do, because they are criminals and they are doing bad things. That's something that crime role players don't really do. They don't like that, and it's the biggest issue out of every point I'm about to say. So let's move on to point 2. They believe they are important to the community. Crime RPers believe that their shit don't stink. They believe that they are the best, most badass around, and rub it in everybody's faces to the point where they're just annoying. It's really annoying. You can see that a lot. If you find a crime RPer, go to his profile or her profile. If you have like Total RP or My Roleplay, and look, because they'll probably have something stating that they have a bounty, and they have a bounty from the Alliance for like a couple million gold because they believe they are just godlike figure. I would understand if like someone actually set that bounty on you, if like say the Stormwind Guard put out a bounty on some crime RPer's head for like a couple hundred gold, and then they could put that in their profile because it would make sense, but they make up these like vast amounts of like stuff just so they can like feel important. And these crime role players, they believe they can freely do what they wish. They wish they could throw the city into chaos. They believe they can. They want to rule it like some kingpins because that's just how they think. And really, the entire community has been thrown into this gaggle of elitist RPers because of their prideful ignorance, because they just don't understand like that what they're doing does not go with everybody else and what they're doing. Point 3. They have no character depth at all. Most crime RPers suffer from having one of the most generic and cookie-cutter criminal profiles imaginable. If you think a cookie-cutter villain and thought of like the "I'm going to destroy everything just cuz" or the "I'm going to rule the world" guy, you have the entire crime community learned and memorized. They're all the same, and it's really annoying. Other fads include, but are not limited to, the insane Joker-like role players, the pirate RPer, the douchey Gilnean criminal, and so much more. Buy it all now at your local server. All in all, crime RPers are boring. They add nothing to note. They add nothing to the entire community. They are generic, and they're boring. And it makes for some pretty awful, like, random roleplay. It makes horrible roleplay when someone's boring. Point 4, they cause drama. Now this is a point that's going to be probably made in a lot of these videos, but crime RPers cause some of the most pointless drama between guilds and their own members. And what I mean by this is that their tendency to be douchey or mean to others without like consent, it makes people out of character think, what the hell? And then so they go to the crime RPers out of character and they're like, why'd you do this? This is wrong. And the crime RPers, being their douchey selves, OOC and IC, are like, fuck you, okay? And then it causes drama. It is literally, this causes some of the most hate for the entire community of crime guilds. They cause the most out of any other like guild. You could go company guild, military guild, guard guild, dwarven guild, gnome guild, any guild you can think of. Crime guilds and crime role players start the most drama. Because that's how they roleplay. So, with all these points said, can you fix the overall crime RP community? Yes and no. Now I've thought about this a lot, and I've asked around. I've asked my own guild, other guilds, other people on the server, and people will always have an issue with crime in the Moonguard community. No one wants to be robbed, killed, or injured. No one. It's like that in real life. No one wants to be killed, robbed, or injured. I guess one of the main things that crime role players can do to avoid this is to go to people out of character and whisper the targeted person out of character and be like, hey, can my character rob your character? And if the target says, sure, why not, or no, then they have their answer and they can do it, or they don't do it. Pardon my stutter. Another thing is, if crime RPers took into account that not everyone cares for them, they could do any guild events in private. This is something that I thought of that crime role players could benefit from, is that their stuff has to be limited to themselves, because no one else is going to take them seriously. And by what I mean by this is, a while ago, a couple of months ago, one of the crime roleplay guilds, won't name names, they went to the Cathedral of Stormwind, the good old cathedral, everybody likes the cathedral, and they terrorist bombed it. No one cared. Not a single person went in there to investigate, not a single person stopped what they were doing to go look at it. No one cared. Since nobody cares, guilds like that could benefit heavily from doing what, say, Cat Clan role players do, and they have to be exiled, basically, and they have to go out and do their own thing by themselves, where they can live in their own little world, where they are causing all the problems with Stormwind, and they summoned Argus, or whatever they want to do. So, this option allows for crime families to exist and have their own place away from the overall community of Moonguard, and the overall community can continue to have all their issues, you know? So, with all that said, will the crime community ever be fixed? Will Moonguard ever accept crime organizations? Will they ever accept crime role players? Probably not. But hey, that's just one of the many problems of Moonguard.